A new Gallup poll names President Obama as the most admired man of 2016. His approval rating at a 4-year high right now. But how history will judge the 44th president is still the focus for many, just weeks before his final days in office. Joining me now, Democratic strategist Tharon Johnson, former Southern Regional Director of Obama's 2012 campaign. Tharon, Happy New Year to you. Thanks for joining us.
Happy New Year, Stephanie.
You know, Tharon, talk of Obama's legacy really started during that campaign. In fact, Obama encouraged support of Hillary Clinton to bolster his legacy, and he's still making a case for it. Listen to what he said during his last weekly address of the year.
Poverty is falling. Incomes are rising. In fact, last year, folks' typical household income rose by $2,800. 20 million more Americans know the financial security of health insurance. Our kids' high school graduation rate is at an all-time high. We've brought 165,000 troops from Iraq and Afghanistan and took out Osama bin Laden.
Those are significant accomplishments, but are there things that you think might overshadow them?
Well, I think the president just really laid out his legacy. I mean, if you listen to what he said, he really focused on jobs. I mean, President Obama will go down in history as having the longest streak, 81 months of job growth in this country. He also talked about education and how the high school graduation rate is increased. And let's not forget what he's done around the Affordable Care Act. I mean, now American people, some American people in this country have access to health care. But the one thing, Stephanie, that I think that will not necessarily overshadow, but is not really being talked about, is that President Obama has been an ethical president. I mean, this has been a very scandal-free president, a president who's been very transparent. And I think that that's the reason you see that he is not only admired, but he has this tremendous approval rating amongst the American people. They can trust him, and they always feel that he's going to make the best decisions for the American people. And then ultimately, history will cast the final ballot that will determine President Obama's legacy. I think that months from now, and probably years from now, when we enter into this Trump administration, the American people will miss President Obama, and I think ultimately they will continue to define his legacy.
Well, Tharon, he certainly has his critics, and in some way this election was a repudiation of Obama. And you mentioned the Affordable Care Act, but let's talk a little bit about it. It's been called the president's biggest accomplishment, as well as his most spectacular failure. A Gallup poll shows 43% of Americans want changes to it. More than a third want it repealed and replaced. This week he's going to Capitol Hill to prevent that from happening. Do you think his efforts will work?
Well, listen, President Obama himself and people like me have said that it wasn't perfect. It wasn't the all-in, be-all as far as fixing a broken healthcare system in our country. But we cannot negate the fact that 20 million Americans now have access to health care. And one of the criticisms that we've heard throughout the president's term, and also during the campaign with Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump, is this sort of replace and repeal. And we saw on day one, within the first week, as President Trump-elect met with his team and also met with President Obama, he sort of backed off this whole notion that he was just going to continue to replace it. I think ultimately, yes, there's been people who have been concerned with some of the rate increases, but ultimately I think that it's done well for the American people. And it's very disingenuous, I think, to tell these 20 million plus Americans who now have access to health care, and especially these young people who have been able to stay on their parents' health insurance into their 20s, that this is something that has been an ultimate failure. I think, again, it's worked. It needs probably some, adjustments. But ultimately, I think it'll be a big part of his legacy in a favorable way.
All right, Tharon Johnson, thank you very much for joining me.
Thank you.